Hey guys, welcome back. Continuing on with the CPTSD from surviving to thriving, toxic shame and soul murder. The rejecting responses our parents, the rejecting responses of our parents to our emotional expressions alienate us from our feelings. Emotional abuse, neglect, scares us out of our own emotions while simultaneously making us terrified of other people's feelings. John Bradshaw describes the devastation of a child's emotional nature as soul murder. He explains that this is the process involving a child's emotional expression, his first language of self expression, is so assaulted with disgust that any emotional experience immediately dissolves into toxic shame. I believe that toxic shame is the effect of the inner critic, and that inner critic thought process are the contagions of shame, a terrible yin yang process emanating from our original abandonment. Because of the deadly 1 2 punch of familial and societal attacks on our emotional selves, we need to recover our innate emotional intelligence. This is also deeply important, as Carl Jung emphasized. Our emotions tell us what is really important to us. When our emotional intelligence is restricted, we often do not know what we really want and can consequently struggle mightily with even the smallest decisions. As emotional recovery progresses, the mindfulness described above begins to extend towards emotional experience. This helps us to stop automatically dissociating from our feelings. We learn to identify with our feelings, and we can choose healthy ways to respond to them. And this aids us in making better choices. Towards the end of a long-term therapy, a male client told me yesterday I was contemplating what have I discovered in the years of our work together. And I'm amazed at how much my values have shifted away from those of my macho family and culture. I feel like I now prefer the arts to science, novels to nonfiction, gardening to watching golf, and hanging out with my partner at home to partying at the bar. It's a really great text here. Again, coming back to that assault from your parents, that soul murder. Again, something so strong is not separating away from the soul murder with love. What does that even mean? What is the benefit of that? What is the value of that if you are stuck in a collapsed state without the resources that you need? Of course, everyone is at a different level, right? And it depends on how far you are in your own journey and how far you've come, because I've seen people in different kind of group therapies and support groups, that I've seen different kind of fellow travelers who I've met in different stages, and they have different needs, according to their own personal situation and their own advancement, other resources that they have available to them. And it's so important to know that you can come back to your emotional nature, but you have to really know what it feels like to stand up for yourself inside of yourself, like in a really emotional, firm way. You have to really be able to put your foot down and to cast out all of the guilt that you have, the over responsibility for your parents' emotions, the feeling that you don't even have the right to exist. All of this is toxic shame. The feeling that you don't have the right to have needs, the feeling that you don't even have the right to expect basic decent treatment from other people, which is why you continuously attract really shitty friends into your life who are like your parents, and or really shitty partners and bosses who treat you in the same way as your parents did. Just because you have internalized that toxic shame, you're still looking for that connection outside, and you need to find a way to give that to yourself first before you can effectively connect with other people. How do you do that? It comes across in knowing, not just believing or thinking, but really a felt sense to know that you deserve to take up space, that you deserve to have needs, that you can express yourself. And it sounds weird because it's not like you're looking down on people, but in a way, you have to learn to look down on people. Now, if I say that, you would think, oh my God, that sounds so rude and toxic, but you won't understand, because if you've grown up with this toxic shame and you were emotionally neglected and abandoned, parentification, you were pushed down by your parent. So you are literally always looking up, of course, as a kid, but your parent pushed you down into this slave role so that they could control you. So you're by default looking up to your parent. Oh, accept me, love me. They never did. So what happened in your life? You get pushed down. This became your first pattern of relating. You being subservient, look, oh, accept me. So now this is what people call pick me energy. So people go out and they're interacting at work with their friends in the same way, looking up at people. Oh, accept. So you really need to learn to look down on people. And I mean, to be honest, most people don't deserve your respect. I mean, most people deserve respect as human beings because everyone is human, but most people don't deserve respect, to be honest. And if you go out into the world that naively thinking that people deserve respect by default, then you're wrong. That has to be earned. Um, with people who smile too much, who are too friendly, who are too overgiving, who are too accommodating, these kind of like overly empathetic people, because you didn't receive it. So you're going out into the world trying to offer that. You need to literally gain some power in yourself and learn to look down on people. And again, that's going to sound like so, oh my God, that's so bad. But if you're coming from that extreme deficit place, moving a little over towards the other side is exactly what you need. And you're never going to be in the extreme of the other side because this is how you've grown up. But you need to learn that it's okay to look down on people and to respect yourself and to be more selective. Oh, I want this person to come into my life. This is how you have agency. I want this person to come into my life. I want this person. I don't want that person. I'm going to use this group of people for, making music and having fun. I'm going to use this person here for, going to the mall. I'm going to use this friend for, taking road trips with because they like to drive. And it's not like using people in a bad way. It's just like learning how to see who someone is, accepting them for who they are, and then spending time together so you can get your needs met from people. That's literally how you do it. If you're just always in this childish position, again, how your parents put you, you're always going to be reaching up, and that's going to keep you in a hugely disadvantageous position that is going to lead to just more abuse and exploitation, because that is the role that you got trained for. Your parents trained you as someone to be a slave who was abused, literally. And so, um, again, when they say, oh, separate with love, I understand the spirit of that. But I mean, do you separate from your slave master with love? I don't think so. I mean, if your slave master had a slave, does the slave master just willingly say, okay, now you can go away? You can freely take away everything I was getting for free from you being my slave. That doesn't happen, and that's something that therapists and therapy in general does not give for people who are coming over these issues. They think, oh, just separate with love, try to maintain some kind of relationship. This is like literally a war. It's a fucking combat sport. That's why people feel better when their parents finally die. So many people, when their parents, even if they haven't talked to their parents for like 10 or 20 years, just someone giving them the phone call, oh, your mom is dead, or oh, your mom is dead, or oh, your father is dead. I've heard so many people say that their body just like relaxes just from knowing that that buzzard is not on earth anymore. Like it's literally that serious. That's how much the abuse and that enslavement is ingrained into your DNA. So when they finally die, your body can finally release, you know? Um, So, we had to be patient and just wait for them to die, before we can have that release feeling. But I mean, so many people on so many podcasts have had that experience and they share it over and over and over. I hear it all the time. And, I can't imagine what that relief is going to feel like. That's one of the things that really keeps me alive is how am I going to feel when I'm finally actually free from this bullshit? Um, I know that's not what it takes for me to get free, but it is going to have like a huge impact on allowing you to really escape and to finally feel safe. Because when you've grown up in abuse to be abused, then it's difficult to feel safe when that person is still alive, you know? Even if you moved all the way across the ocean, people move across the world, is something in the back of your mind, some kind of active something. And yeah, don't feel guilty for that. Um, do not make anyone, do not allow anyone else who does not have toxic shame and who did not experience this family dysfunction to make you feel bad for that, because you need to stand up for yourself finally, because that's something that we most likely have not been allowed to do. So thanks for joining the reading today, and I'll see you guys again the next time. Take care.